येन देवाः पवित्रेण आत्मानं पुनते सदा तेन सहस्रधारेण पवमान्यः पुनन्तु मां राजावत्यं पवित्रं चतोद्यामं हिरण्मयं तेन ब्रह्मविदो वयं भूतं ब्रह्म पुनीमहे इन्द्रस्सुनीति सह मा पुनातु सोमस्वस्या वरुणः समीच्य यमो राजा प्रवृणाभिः पुनातु मां जातवेदमोद्यताभू। Welcome to you all for this auspicious day, the Vighna Nivaraka Chathurthi, which is also called as Ganesh Chathurthi or Vinayaka Chathurthi. We are blessed today to have the function on the right day instead of pushing it to some weekend. So he wanted us to perform his day on that particular day itself, which he made as the weekend. So we are really blessed in that sense. We are going to have the function today in two processes. One, as we do regularly in every year, having the Vishwaksena or Ganesha, whoever they may be, and do the puja, and all together join and do the puja there. And in addition to that, having blessed with the nice occasion of our Sriyagam last month, and also our Yajnacharya, Madhusudanacharya and his team are here. So we are going to have the Vishwaksena Ishti also. So the Ishti is specifically dedicated for fulfilling our desires to get the grace of Lord Vishwaksena and thus to get the victory. There what we do here in the form of doing the regular puja, it is our part which we are doing. But it is there. It is the Vedic mantra part which they are doing. And ultimately, of course, we are the beneficiaries. We want a better success, not just normal success, but a wonderful success. So, whatever just we do, we always want that it must be giving us 100% success, No discount is permitted there. No discount we want. So, for which we are doing puja here. This we do all together. And we take the flowers and we go to him and then we offer. And that's what we do. We take the harati and each one of them also just give the harati. And that is here. And this Vishwaksena will be here for 9 days. Yes. Because, again, ultimately, we have to do the Nimajanam also. So that we will do here. And yes, of course, we also will be here. Till then, right? Till the Nimajanam will be here? Yes. Are you pushing the host? Oh yeah, that's okay. But it's on the 9th day from today, right? So today is 11th day. Today is the 11th. 9/11. And it will be on 20th. So that's what I said. We also will be here. So you're not sending us. That's okay. Thank you. So we will be having the Ganesh Nimajanam. And why do we Nimajanam? Somebody said, we people can create gods and we can dispose them all. It's not an ordinary person said, It was the word of a very renowned organization which declares itself or herself as the protector of the dharma, and the person who said was the head of that organization. That we people can create gods and we can just dispose them off. That's the privilege and the way people got. That's how what they call them as Hindus are. But we won't say that. We are not that arrogant, and we want that God should bless us. We don't want to bless gods, to be or to get disposed of. And Vishwaksena or Ganesha, we do the Nimajjanam. Possibly, it depends. If it's people have time, they do it on 9th day. Some people do on 11th day also. Even that's also there. Times, if the day and time is not appropriately set, then they postpone it for 11th day also. And some people do it on 7th day, some people do on the 5th day, some people may do it on 3rd day, and few people who have no time and no room also, they just do the puja on the day, same day, do it on the evening also, and next morning they just dispose it off. That's how they have given us choice to do the puja in different ways. But why do we do the Nimajjanam then? See, some people feel it is so bad. Just we create it and we did puja and just we're throwing it on the waters. Why? Why should we just dispose on the water? They don't want it to do like that. But it's recommended to do so. So there must be a perfect reason, an appropriate reason why we do the Nimajjanotsavam of the Ganesha. So let's try to understand what it is, why we do that, and what will be the benefit by doing this Ganesh Jayanti, Ganesh Chathurthi, or Vishwaksena Aradhana, or Vighna Nivaraka Chathurthi, and whatever it is. Okay? So before we go into the puja, we will be just explaining to you what so far our Yajnacharya did at the Homasala. It was Vishwaksena Isti they wanted to perform, and performing, I think, any Vedic sacrifice, the ritual has a process. It's a very, very systematized process, how to create the fire, how to dispose of the fire. That is what I think I allowed you to have an experience. Otherwise, I would have taken the mic and start explaining the thing. But I didn't want to do that because I expect that you have a sort of wonderful experience of what really they are doing. If it is in the regular homa or in other pujas, you may not be having a chance because either you will be engaged in some other activity, or you may be just chatting with your friends, or else no, there will be a big crowd which always diverts your attention. So here, no such things are disturbing you present, and you are also very quiet and calm and peaceful and really wonderful guys you are. So you are also just having an experience there. So I just allowed you to really feel it, what they're doing. It's a homakunda. What, of course, just we have all around us seen that how they are doing really. And they are inviting Vishwaksena there into the fire. That's all it is. Inviting Vishwaksena and offering just a few mantras to him to please him, and then they just dispose of. But inviting Vishwaksena, and in Vishwaksena again we will be inviting Lord Narayana only. That's how the process goes. And a physical thing what we see is the fire. In the fire there will be Agni Devata. As you people know, how many gods we people have? Do you know the number?
1.
33? Yeah, people say 33 crores of gods you guys have. Multi-godinal system. But do you think all the 33 are 330 millions? 33 crores means how many millions? 330 millions. Recently somebody said, no, it went up. No. It went up to 500 millions. I said, that's fine, no problem. Because they have all abilities, so they can generate. After all, you are generating, can't they generate them? When you are adding population, do you think that they are incapable of adding population? Not at all. So they must be increasing also. Maybe it is 330 or 500 millions. Do you consider all of them are just gods? Do you think that we have those many gods? No. I think no religion will have more number of gods. God will always be one. So, we people believe in Vedas. And in scripture, that talks about the Veda. Tries to elaborate the inner meanings of Veda. That is what actually we take as an authority. To decide anything with regard to God, or any features of God, or any place of God, or any activity of God, or anything related to God, we never take liberty of deciding things on our own, because we don't know them. And we didn't see them at all. There must be some people gone to see them, but they didn't return. Many people must have gone, but they did not come back and then say, hey, I've seen, hey, the setup is like this. These many, I had an interaction with them. Nobody said like that. So, to decide anything, to discuss anything about something related to God, we always depend upon the Vedic scriptures, Vedic literature. Any literature, just related to Veda, so we accept, and that's what we follow. That is why our way of living is called Vedic. If you want to call it as a religion, you can call it as Vedic religion, Vedic practices, Vedic faith. That's how just we say. So ours is a Vedic way of life, Vedic way of living. So that's how we do. So in that Veda it is said, what you see is just the matter. And behind the matter there is an energy. And behind that energy there is a support. And all this matter is being supported by one power. We call it as God. Right? And there's only one. And that power, the inner supporter, is having so many, again, subordinates working in accordance with his ordinance. We call them as Jeeyar. We are also Jeeyars, but we are normal Jeeyars. There are some other Jeeyars who are really blessed, and we call them as devatas. They became devatas because they act far better than us. If you want, you just can't fly, can you? Unless somebody takes you up and drop you. Then you can fly, but you may not live. You fly and you come down, for sure. And then that's it. So, we just can't fly as we wish. But by some sort of practice, some sort of, I think, ability, some sort of what you call that, the yoga, you may be able to fly. Yes. Some sort of pranayama, if you do, what we call as a kumbhaka, if that is holding the air in your stomach. You hold it. You won't let it out, you won't just breathe in also, but you just hold it. Hold it for long. That's called kumbhaka, a state of the pranayama. Breathing in is called puraka, and exhalation is called as rechaka. So puraka, rechaka, and kumbhaka. Kumbhaka is a stage which you hold. You won't let it just move out or in. You hold it. So it depends, how long can you hold the air like that? Did you ever check? Can you make a try? How long can you hold? 1 minute? Try. Hey, bring the clock. Let's have a check on how long can you hold. Let's see. Yeah, there's nothing wrong in just checking, Yeah. The timer started. 1, 2, 1, 2. Done. 1 minute holding. Who could achieve it? That's wonderful. It's brilliant. Right. That's nice. So, you can imagine holding air for and even in that 1 minute, the first few seconds you use just for breathing in. In fact, that's not counted. See, if you are just breathing in for say 5-10 seconds, then you start counting. That is Kumbhaka stage. That starts then. So I think you have already taken 10 seconds and just breathing. Look, hold it for 1 minute becomes this difficult, for persons like us. And you can imagine people take the breath and they will be like that for days, for months, few people for years. Did you hear about a frog? When it fixes up in the stone, it goes into the hibernation stage. And there, that's the Kumbhaka. There's a stage called the Kumbhaka only. So it stays in the stone for years. For years. You call it as hibernation, right? And that's the Kumbhaka. You should go to the hibernation state and then you have to remain like that. And if you are able to practice that stage, then you can just raise into that space. You know, if the balloon, when you fill up air and then close it, what happens? It flies. It goes to the roof and there it fixes up. As long as there is air, thus long it will be there, right? That's Kumbhaka. And if you are able to eliminate the toxins of the body and take the fresh air and keep it in, and that's called Kumbhaka, and then you can just raise. Again it depends, how you do the sadhana. Don't think, no, this is what we in fact did, is only just a trial to have a simple experience with it. But that should not be the way as how to do the Kumbhaka. There is a process. There is a perfect recommended process through which, before going to Kumbhaka, how you have to do the practice like a Puraka and Rechaka, and then you can then only do the Kumbhaka. Kumbhaka, I think the practitioners never recommended the initial stage at all. Understand? But if you get that Kumbhaka, that means you can just raise. You can just fly. That is, with Kumbhaka, in olden days, those people used to move. They used to fly. They used to just go up into the space. And wherever just they want, they travel. And just by just releasing the air, they come down. But slowly, It's a very, very perfect process of doing that. Those devatas, whom we call as devatas, also just, they're like you and I. But they did sadhana very well. And their bodies are very pure. Not like our bodies, which are with a lot of pollution, with a lot of, dust in it, dirt in it. And their bodies were not like that. They were very, very, very pure. So they were called as devatas. Many devatas. All the number what you have taken, like 330 millions, all they are called as devatas. But don't think all they will be in the equal stage then. There are different levels. Even among the 330 millions, some are lower, some are a bit mid, some are higher mid, and some are on top mid, and some are lower higher, and then mid higher, and high higher, not like that. So there are different stages, even among all of them. But there are 33 different stages, it seems, among them. 33 stages. So they are called 33 koti. Koti is a stage. Is the first koti, second koti, third koti. Koti means that the first group, second group, third group, fourth, fifth, like that. So there are 33 groups. So they are called 33 crores. Because in Sanskrit and in Telugu, they call 10 millions as koti. And koti means a group also. So they thought a koti means that. There are 33 groups. And there are 33 crores. And there they fixed the number. Not necessarily, there are 330 millions. But for sure there are 33 groups. In each of the groups, yes, they have so many. Again, a few millions. In each of the groups. We call them all devatas. They are not gods. They are devatas. Of course, we call them gods also, no, in a different way. That's why to make an identification, to find out the difference between them and God, some people call them as demigods. You know, some people, many people of course, they call them as demigods. Brahma is a demigod. Indra is a demigod. You know, Varuna, Vayu, Agni, Isana. All these are called as demigods. That means that they are far superior than you, but not God. As there is a lot of difference between, just a small carpenter and the President of America. In the same way, and between such presidents and even the lowest of the devatas, the difference is still hundreds and thousands of times. From the lowest of the devatas to the highest of the devatas, again the difference is what they call in Telugu as Nakaki Nagalokaniki. That the sky difference is there. Sky difference. And between these devatas and again God, I think the difference is something which we just can't imagine even. So God is one, that's all. And there won't be so many gods. But devatas, sure, there are so many. Whom we call as Vishwaksena is one devata. Those whom we call Ganesha is also one devata. But because they are very great with their position and with their duties, we consider them as great. And then, of course, giving the name like God, there's nothing, because God never again sues us, by saying, why you are using my name? No. See, the president of the country is also called as the president. And if you have a small team of volunteers and formed an organization, and then you may elect or select one as the president. And because Mr. President, you can say, yes, Mr. President, and he's also Mr. President, he's also Mr. President. But there's a lot of difference, that president having so many millions in his hand. You may not be having, a single penny, that's okay. But you are also a president, in one sense. So, God, you can call anyone with a name, because the power of God is with everyone, even in you and I also the power of God exists. So if one is able to really locate it, really address it, or really have a vision of that, and calling you also as God, there's nothing wrong in it. Because you are also just a form of that God, right? Your body is a form, and in which God again dwells. So, why can't you also be called as God? There's nothing wrong in that, But people think God means, I can do everything, and I can do anything, and that's how just they goes into a hype, then that creates a problem. So, devatas are so many, and whatever the things we see in the nature, all these features are supported with some limited power behind them. We call them devatas. Right? The air has some power behind. That is called as Vayu Devata. Water or the moisture, any form of the water, maybe it's in the liquid form, in the solidified form, or in the vapor form, any form, whatever the water content that exists in nature, it's called Varuna. The power behind that is called Varuna. But when we say Devatas, very commonly we start visualizing that they are also like us, with a head, with two eyes, and with a crown, and with a few jewelry, and with, just with the dhotis and stuff like that, and then having some weapon in their hand, and as if, just they are coming to you and just walking. Not necessarily that is the form of the god. Devatas, Don't think that devatas will be like you. Their form may be something different. They may not see with eyes as you and I have. They may be seeing from a different way, through a different source. You know how the what do you call that? Bat. The bat, right? Which moves during the nights, and it moves in the dense darkness also. But it never hits any wall. It never hits any door. It never hits any tree, and it's moving very comfortably. How does it move? Do you know that? How? Echo? Location. That's good. So it produces a sound which probably we cannot hear. And the moment it produces sound, if it reflects, or then it understands how something is here, I should go. So I take a diversion. Right? And whenever there is no, again, reversion of the sound produced, and then it moves to. But that is so fast. Very, very much faster, than what you imagine. And otherwise, it moves very fast, and before it really goes and hits, the sound should come back and it should take a decision and then take a diversion. That means you can imagine how fast it receives the signals and how fast it sends the signals also. That's its ability. So, it's seeing the things and dealing with them is not like what you see and you deal. It's a different mechanism for a bat. And same thing with every creature. Same thing with devatas also. Their way of communication, their way of seeing the things, their way of walking, doing, receiving, giving is not just like what you do, you see. It is said they have no, I think, legs. Devatas, they don't have legs. So they never touch the ground. That's what it is said. Did you hear that? They will be always 1 meter high than the ground. That's what it said. Devatas never touch the earth. They never touch the ground. Did you hear this? How come, without touching, how do they walk there? Look, are you seeing the air? Are you experiencing the air? Wind. Do you think that wind has any legs? Wind is with you, right? But have you ever seen the legs to the wind? Does wind stay on the ground? No? So if you consider wind as an entity, and then its way of moving is something different than you. Its way of standing also is something different. And its way of working also is something different. With every devata, it is like that. Everything is specific. Everything is particular. It's pretty much individualized, The form, the work, the movement, and everything. They are called devatas. So, what we see is the matter. Behind the matter, the devata. Behind the devata, we have the ultimate power we call as God. We name that God as Narayana. And we name these powers with different devatas. And what we see is, of course, has names which we know well. We say this is tree, and we say this is a wood, we say this is floor, we say this is bell, we say this is spoon, we say this is a ghee. With everything we have names like that. Fine. But behind these things, we invite a devata. Behind the devata, there will be God. That's what they are also doing there. They create the fire. And behind the fire, there is Agni Devata. Behind the Agni Devata, there is a Vishwaksena now today. Because it's a specific day for Vishwaksena. Right? They invite Vishwaksena. And behind that Vishwaksena, again, Narayana. It's a 4-level, the worship they are doing there. 4 levels. Physical, fire, that's at the matter level. And the energy is called Agni. And the power we wanted is the Vishwaksena. And the support behind all of them is Narayana. That's how the worship goes. And when the setup is so like that, I think to do anything, to offer anything else will not be like If just I bring a banana and give it to you, you can right away start eating it, And I can also just right away give it to you. But how can you bring something to that power? See, after all, when you want some wind, you just can't, hey wind, come on, I want wind, come on. Do you think the wind comes to you? No. You need a process. You need to hold a paper and then you start, just waving it. Pranayama Swamiji, oh God, and then you have to do this. And if you have some other busy work, where you have to engage both of your hands, and then you can't just keep doing this because you have some other work. And then you need to have, a family, stuff like that. Or you have to request some person, hey, come on, keep doing. And you have to pay for it. You have to pay $50 a day. Otherwise you won't get it. So, you need to have a device, what you call it as a fan. Then you can get. And then, to get wind through that, you need to have a lot of process. You need to have a machine behind that. And you need to have a connectivity. And you need to have a plugging system. And you need to have an electrical power. And you need to have supply to that. And you need to have a power generation station. And their power generated, supplied to you, got back to you, and fixed up with your plug. And you turn it on, hooking something which linked to the fan, and started rotating the inner mechanism. And then the wings start moving. See, something to get. How much mechanism is needed? If you have the mechanism perfect, you get the wind perfect. If you fail at some point, you won't get it. If it is cut somewhere, you won't get it. After all, for a small thing, this is what I said. Now, there, you are trying to do something with the devatas. With the inner power behind the matter. That's where you are dealing with. And for which, how much mechanism Veda recommended, that is what you need to appreciate. They created that, of course the altar is there, they purified that first. And then they decorated it. That's at the very much physical level. And then they have just kept all the things in an order, and which side, what object should be kept, they did first. And then they have 3 levels. And at each of the level they have certain devatas invited. And inside also they have some stuff on the floor before really inviting the devatas or the fire. And then they cleared it like, just drawing few lines, and with darbas. And which darbas again can be kept in the fire, which cannot be kept in the fire. Probably you must have seen them. Some they rotated through outside. But some, after purifying the ghee, they dropped into the fire. So this is something what we need to know, we need to follow also. Each activity is just specified. You need to do this way. You have to do this like this. It's if you do that way, you get the after all, it's only fire, and there is a mantra. Of course, Swamiji already gave it in the paper, and this is what we have to do. So you start creating a fire. And nowadays you must be seeing, every person is having a copper plate in their homes. Do you know that? It is for the fire. They keep a small bowl like stuff, which they call as an altar, and then they just generate the fire for the day, and they bring 2 twigs, and then they chant some mantra and just put it, finish over, just to keep going. Generate some smoke, and that fills up there in the home, and then that purifies, they say, it purifies you. They got it. That should be the way, to deal with the power if you really want to purify things. If you really want just only the smoke, nothing this much, is not needed. Just you light up a couple of incense sticks. Done. Or otherwise, if you want some fragrance, you have now the candles. Just light up a candle, and then it gives the fragrance and done. But it is not like that. It is with some process and purpose, which I think recommended by Vedas. So they just drew a few lines, vertical lines and horizontal lines, and that drawing also should be from the west to east, from south to north. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's how they have to draw. And then they keep the darbhas on the darbha is the grass, and then also the root should be towards the west, and the edge must be towards east. And for the horizontal ones, the root must be on the south, and the edge must be facing north. And that's how it is. The way they recommend it, they keep them, they draw something, and then on the top of them, they invite some devatas with some mantras, of course. And then before creating the fire, they organize all around the first level, few devatas. Second level, the Kumla Mudakshas, then Jeeyar, and then Indra and stuff like that. And then they invite Brahma on one side, because each one has his own place and their own status also, and you need to respect them, and you have to invite in an order. The protocol is pretty much fixed, and protocol is very, very strict. In our organizations, we think why we should follow the protocol. You are the boss of that person, and he is the boss of that person. He is the boss of that person. You need to follow the hierarchy and protocol, right? You have to inform them. They should inform. They should inform. And while inviting the top, before inviting the top person, first the lowest, next his boss, next his boss, next, then finally you invite the topmost person. I know the topmost person. Why all these guys, small guys, they come automatically if the topmost come. I go. Mostly in our organizations, people think, I know Swamiji. Why should I, respect these, volunteers? Let the volunteers go inside. I go directly to Swamiji and just I can do things well. I can talk to Swamiji if I want to. Why should I talk to these guys? Many places it happens like that. We deal with Swamiji only. It's against the protocol. I think, it's not the law. It's not the law. And there, again, after inviting all of the first, second, third level devatas, they invited Brahma on one side. And then they worshipped him with a few upacharas. And again, the system is so beautiful. For few devatas, only 4 upacharas will be offered. Gandham, Pushpam, Dhupam, Deepam, finish. Only 4. Even if they expect one more, no, nothing. no 5th upachara. And for the devatas like Brahma, 8 upacharas are recommended. You know, the 4 more upacharas will be there for them. But for the inner ones with the point, 16 upacharas will be offered for them. I think you must have seen when they invited the Vishwaksena into the fire, then the Arkyam, Vajyam, Achamadiyam, like that, 16 upacharas will be offered for them. For main one, 16 upacharas. Next, 8. Next to him are only just 4. Be happy with them and just do your duty. That's all it is. You know, that's how the system goes. It's very beautiful. See, the moment you understand it, it's so beautiful and it's so attractive. But we need to respect it. And we should follow it. Then why can't you get the result? You did for this purpose, you see the result on hand. Otherwise, you know, we are doing since long, Swami. This is the first time in this. Oh, from my childhood I am seeing. I born in that, I brought up with them and that's how I am with them. But I never saw any result. Why can you see the result? Because we are not following. You know the computers better now. And you know the big programming, the complexity of the programming. And if you make a big program and just insert it, and the moment you start, if there is something if or but gone, or if there is some period of comma, gone everything. It's a big bug. And it says, some error. And go error 601. And it never be, fixed up. So, if you miss something, the whole thing is gone. So you should be very careful. So after Brahma was invited on that side, and again they kept a Kalasa here. I am observing, do they keep everything and then fix up there? No. First they have to fill up with the water, then they have to keep it there, and then they have to invite some Vasudeva into that, and then fix it up. And before fixing up again, they brought one summit, they tied it up, and after Brahma only, they kept it on the top. And while doing the Purnahuti, you need to observe again. Before Purnahuti, they first remove, and then they drop into the fire, and then they observe that they follow Purnahuti, and after the Brahma is sent off, or after the Kalasa is given, then only the Brahma will be sent off. Order. When they invite 1, 2, 3, 4, and withdrawal also goes from the top, from the bottom only to the top. That is the process. As they organize the things around, the same process again they withdraw also after the Mahapurnahuti is done. In the same order. The first one goes, the top one goes first, next one goes next one goes next. Who was invited first, he will be going last. So they are not that significant, but the top one is very significant, so he goes first. Next is last guy goes. And that's the way it will be. So, thus actually they are inviting the Vishwaksena as the main one, with Narayana in him, and then they are doing the prayers. And I think they gave you all these papers. Did you receive them? No? You have. And those who have participated in the Vishwaksena history, probably they must be knowing this. But anyway, the papers will be given in Telugu and also in English. Those who are able to read Telugu can get the Telugu one. Those who cannot read Telugu can get the English version. And we will chant that mantra, but not now. After the puja, we finish here. Okay? So first of all, we'll go to the puja here, to the Vishwaksena, and we finish it, and get the akshatas from here, and then we go to the deities, and get the tirtham, come back, and then finish the Purnahuti, and get the prasad. Right? Will it be okay? We shall start it now. We'll have Vishwaksena, and also we have the wonderful Gajanana. So both are here. And today is the Vighna Nivaraka Chathurthi that removes the hurdles. And from those whoever are our remover, troubleshooter. Let's start the puja now. We invited Vishwaksena from there to here. First we invited them to the Homasala. And there, of course, the elder Kalasam is also there. He is receiving in two forms there. One is in the Kalasa and one is in the Havan, in the fire. In two places he is receiving. From there again he came to this place in the form of a deity, and in the form of Vigraha. So he is being invited now. But you are also doing the puja, right? You are also doing. So they say the slokas to you, and you have to repeat after them for each of the upacharas, right? Right from invitation.